Good evening, you're watching News Mongolia and Beyond. I'm your host, Munkhjin. And for top stories, ongoing international promotion efforts for Mongolia. Pope Francis comments on his Mongolia trip, Greece wildfires and Ukraine war. Mongolian ballet dancer Munkhjin to showcase his skills in Atlanta. And for the news, stay tuned. In a significant move for its long-term tourism development policy, Mongolia has announced 2023 to 2025 as the years to visit Mongolia. Spearheaded by the Ministry of Culture, this initiative has already gained momentum with a series of activities attracting global attention.
Mongolia has already hosted many foreign tourists this year. Celebrities with millions of social media followers, including the top content creators, influencers, actors, and singers, have visited the country to promote it. Recently, a popular South Korean program with well-known actors and singers traveled 2,000 kilometers across Mongolia. CNN News anchor Richard Quest also traveled to Mongolia for a series of broadcast segments. These visits are the result of the Ministries of Culture's strategic initiatives. Our objectives for the years to visit Mongolia are fourfold. First, we aim to share Mongolia's profound cultural heritage on a global scale. Second, our focus lies in attracting foreign investment to our nation. Third, we aspire to highlight our democratic values and exceptional human rights track record. Lastly, we aim to showcase our successful journey through a digital transformation. Our international promotion strategy hinges on four fundamental principles. Our concerted efforts involve active collaboration with distinguished members of the global media, elevating Mongolia's international presence from our unique perspective. Regular participation in significant international festivals serves as a platform to promote Mongolian cultural products and services. Noteworthy instances include our artists' involvement in the Cannes Film Festival and the staging of captivating Mongolian art events in countries like Italy, Japan, and Korea. Through these initiatives, our goal is to enlighten and engage a worldwide audience about the essence of Mongolia. The Ministries of Culture's core strategy involves a systematic, long-term approach to promoting Mongolia. Deciding what to present to visitors is vital. With captivating attractions like natural landscapes, rural beauty, and cultural heritage, the key is to systematically implement a meticulous policy supported by a range of measures. This year began with the Munkhjin Festival in January, followed by Blue Pearl Ice Festival in March and the Grand Eagle Festival. Summer events included June's K-pop Festival, July's Delta Mongol Nadam and National Nadam Festival, and August's Tanshuk Nadam and Erik Festival. The Harharam Ice Festival in December concludes the year. The Mongolian Meronkhor Ensemble performed at Japan's NHK Hall and will debut at the Sydney Opera House in September. October brings the Chinggis Khan, How Mongols Changed the World exhibition in Nantes, France. England's West End will host the Mongol Khan in November. Mongolia's vibrant spirit has been showcased on the global stage through cultural initiatives in 2023.
Pope Francis on Sunday described his visit later this week to Mongolia, the first ever pilgrimage by a pontiff to the East Asian country, as a much-desired occasion to encounter noble, wise people. Speaking to the public in St. Peter's Square, Francis said the trip will also be an opportunity to embrace the Catholic community there, describing the church in Mongolia as small in numbers but lively in faith and great in charity.
The pilgrimage is also an opportunity to meet up close with the noble, wise people, he said. Francis departs on Thursday, returning to Rome 4 days later. There are fewer than 1,500 Catholics in Mongolia, where 3.2 million people live in one of the world's least densely populated countries. The Pope said Mongolia has a great religious tradition that he will have the honor to know, especially in the context of an interreligious event during the trip.
Next Thursday, I'll leave for a trip for several days to the heart of Asia and Mongolia. It is a much-desired visit, and it will be the chance to hug a church small in numbers, but lively in faith and big in charity, and also to meet with the noble, wise people with a great religious tradition, which I will be honored to meet, especially within an interreligious context. I would like to speak to you, brothers and sisters from Mongolia, to tell you that I'm glad to travel to be among you as brother of all. I thank you, your authorities, for the kind invitation, and thank you to all those who with great effort are preparing for my arrival. I assure also a prayer for the victims of the wildfire blazing these days in northeast of Greece, and I express solidarity with the Greek people.
On September 3rd, his schedule includes an ecumenical and interreligious meeting. The largest percentage of Mongolia's people are Buddhist. In his remarks, Francis said he wanted to address brothers and sisters of Mongolia, telling that he's really happy to travel to be among Mongolians as a brother of all. He also asked the faithful in the square to accompany him in prayer during his trip. Francis also said he is praying for the people of Greece and the victims of wildfires in the northeast of the country. Finally, the pontiff reminded the faithful to pray for the suffering people of Ukraine.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
Munkhjin, a young soloist from the National Academic Theatre of Opera and Dance, is gearing up to captivate audiences at an upcoming performance in Atlanta, Georgia. His journey to the spotlight includes qualification for the final round of the highly regarded USA International Ballet Competition, held in the United States in June. Munkhjin's promising ballet career took root during his training at Russia's Perm Ballet School from 2010 to 2018. Following his 8 years in Perm, he secured a position as a ballet dancer at the prestigious National Academic Theatre of Opera and Dance. Munkhjin's talents have been recognized beyond Mongolia's borders. He earned the Special Place Prize at IBCC 2017 in Beijing and the Second Place Prize at the inaugural Russian-Japanese Eurasian Ballet Competition held in Ulaanbaatar, Russia in 2019. Munkhjin's forthcoming performance in Atlanta showcases his achievements and shines a light on Mongolia's thriving ballet traditions.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the international news from our partner agencies. France will ban school pupils attending state-run facilities from wearing the abaya, a loose-fitting, full-length dress some Muslim women wear. Education Minister Gabriel Attal, who was only promoted to his role earlier in the summer, made his announcement late on Sunday in an interview with French television channel TF1.
Car la laïcité, c'est un devoir pour tous.
Because secularism is everyone's duty and the right for everyone, our public schools are being continually tested. We know it. Over the past few months, the infringement on secularism have considerably grown with the wearing of religious garments like the abaya and chemists that have reappeared and have sometimes taken hold in certain schools. We must stand together and we all stand together. Standing together means being clear, and I've had the opportunity to say it. The abaya has no place in our schools, no more than religious symbols. At the heart of this is confirming to our principles of secularism and neutrality. This choice is a choice of our values and a refusal of communitarianism. Public schools must, at any cost, perhaps more than any other institution, be protected from religious proselytism, of any embryonic communitarianism, or from the refusal of our most important common rules.
In 2004, a French law banned the wearing of signs of outfits by which students ostensibly show a religious affiliation in schools. These applied to large crosses, Jewish kippas, and Islamic headscarves. Nevertheless, abayas were somehow spared until last November. The Education Ministry at the time issued a circular including the abaya in a group of items of clothing which could be banned should they be donned in a manner as to openly display a religious affiliation. The circular also singled out bandanas and long skirts. The controversy surrounding the abaya intensified in 2020 when a radicalized Chechen Muslim beheaded a teacher. The teacher had shown students caricatures of the Muslim prophet Muhammad.
Fondamentaux de laïcité et de neutralité.
Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said on Monday Ukraine forces are gradually advancing in the southern direction of the country against Russian forces. Speaking from the military media center in Kiev, Maliar said that Ukrainian soldiers were facing very serious resistance from Russian forces in the southern regions of Zaporizhzhia, Kherson and Mykolaiv, but Ukrainian soldiers were gradually advancing after strong fighting.
Russia continues to carry out offensive actions in eastern Ukraine with its main efforts concentrated on the Kupiansk-Liman, Avdiivka and Marinka axes. The Russian Federation has not abandoned its goal of reaching the borders of Donetsk and Luhansk regions, and in the Kupiansk and Liman axis they are stepping up their efforts to distract our forces from the Bakhmut direction. In addition, the Russians have not abandoned their goal of regaining the territories they lost in Kharkiv region during the liberation of these territories last autumn. They have failed to do so, and the Ukrainian armed forces are stopping the Russians in both the Kupiansk and Liman axes. At the same time, the Russians tried to advance last week in the area of Kremina, Novokhrikhovka, Belohorivka and Vesela in the Donetsk region. They were unsuccessful, but there was very active fighting there throughout the week. Maliar said Ukrainian forces had made progress on the southern flank over the past week, liberating 1 square kilometer, bringing the total liberated territory to 44 square kilometers. According to the Ukraine's defense ministry, Russia's main actions in the east are concentrated in around Kupiansk, Liman, Avdiivka and Marinka. Maliar added that Ukrainian forces were stopping the Russians in both the Kupiansk and Liman axes, but there was very active fighting around Kremina area of Donetsk over the past week.
Here's the weather forecast of all major cities. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow with news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.